Let's duet.
That's a song, right?
In Walk the Line. No, Walk Hard.
Yeah, Dewey Cox.
Yes, Dewey Cox story.
But is it a real song too, or no?
Well, it's catchy. It's a real. They made a song. I assume if you buy the score to Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story, like it'll be in there. It'll be a minute and a half long, maybe, but it's real. You can listen to it.
There you go. No, I know that from a promo for a TV show that involved like a singing competition, and I think it might have been groups that were singing. Might have aired on like NBC or something.
Okay.
Groups singing competition TV show.
Okay. Angela
Nothing
Carrera
else.
and John C. Reilly are credited as the artists.
Right.
The genre is pop, blues, folk.
Okay. Was it the sing-off? That sounds like it might be right. Yeah, it was on NBC, featuring a cappella groups.
Oh.
Look out. I think it might have been on the sing-off. Hosted by Nick Lachey from the boy band 98 Degrees. Oh, boy. Oh, and Nicole Scherzinger, who was then replaced by Sarah Bareilles. Wow.
This means nothing to you guys, but speaking of the band 98 Degrees, there's a really good scene in The Venture Brothers where one of the brothers is apologizing for every terrible thing he's done to the other brother while the other brother is in a coma. And one of them is, Hank, I'm sorry I made fun of you for liking 98 Degrees. The truth is, I like 98 Degrees, and I didn't want you to know that for some reason. Reason number 4, I'm a terrible brother. Hank, I'm sorry I stole your 98 Degrees CD.
Oh my God. That's terrifying.
It's dumb, and I love it.
Yeah. The sing-off launched the career of Pentatonics.
Oh,
that was where
that.
Pentatonics got their start. They won the sing-off.
And now look at them.
Look at them now.
Bigger than the sing-off. Yeah.
Didn't they fall apart though?
Oh.
Or no? Is that just like some people left? I think Avi Kaplan left, but it looks like everyone else, including like the tall blonde guy who like is clearly like their lead singer, but they try to pretend that like, no, we're all equal members of the band, even though some of us just like make bass sounds and others sing with an unbelievably dynamic vocal range and are kind of the performers of the group and do all the social media videos and but we're all equal. We're all equals here.
You know what? Good sign. Good sign. Went on the Pentatonics Wikipedia page. They do not have a controversy section, so that's nice.
They all met in Arlington, Texas.
Yeah.
So they might just be good at PR and understanding that, like, hey, guess what? We probably can't espouse some things that we think or feel.
Yeah.
They're savvy.
I like how 4 of the 5 members have Wikipedia pages and one of them does not.
Oh.
I'm assuming
which one doesn't?
Matt Solly or Sully.
Matt Sully Pentatonics.
So now that you mention it, everyone I know of who's at any level into acapella would admit to being into acapella has some, or had, it's been a while, some interesting political beliefs, some strange viewpoints and priorities.
I guess Matt Solly is the replacement for the guy who left.
No.
Like when you read his about, which is on the Pentatonics fandom page, it says Matthew Levon Matt Solly is the second bass in Pentatonics, replacing former member Avi Kaplan. So they're just openly calling him, yeah, no, this dude
he's here
people
to fill a void.
Wait, they do. So his full name is Matthew Levon Matt Solly. Like the Matt should go before the Levon, right?
Well, no, like Matt, like in quotation marks.
This is his nickname.
Yeah, like,
but it's not
like I'm Bob Ironsides McGee. Like they're saying his nickname is Matt. He's like, I'm Matthew Matt Solly.
Right, but I think it
so
should come I think it should come before the middle name. I don't know.
Well, I've said it before that, like, as someone who had a nickname that was, yes, stupid because it was just my name. Like, everyone in, like, football, for example, would just call me by my last name in high school. So, like, yeah, when they're like, what's your nickname? I'm like, I'm not going to put fucking my last name. It's not going to be Ryan Holtz. Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my entire life. But then they were like, you got to put something. And I was like, guys, this is so stupid. So, I don't know, man. Fuck this shit. Fuck nicknames. Also, I cannot find Let's Duet, the sing-off.
Oh.
But it might not have been popular enough.
That might not have been real.
I know it's real. You can't gaslight me. And yes, I will look through I'll look through the sing-off promos and see if there's any still on YouTube that feature that clip, because it's a sense memory. I know for sure that was a real thing. I don't know that it's the sing-off, but it was a competition reality show featuring singing groups.
And that's what we're doing on episode 209 of the Voluntary Viewing Podcast, recorded on Monday, December 19th, 2022. That's Ryan Holtz being an internet archivist for... I've already forgotten the name of that TV show. I'm sorry.
The Sing-Off.
The Sing-Off. Documenting the Sing-Off. Andrew Clark, what are you archiving? What are you documenting from the internet?
What am I documenting? Like, what am I like, trying to save to make sure that
what
it doesn't...
What are you preserving? Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to make sure that macro memes are not lost to the ravages of time.
Jesus Christ.
I need future generations to learn from our mistakes.
I'm doing the same thing with Rage comics. Y'all remember Rage comics?
Yeah.
Those are fucking litty.
Damn, taking me right back to sophomore year of high school there.
Yeah, I made a Rage comic or two in my day.
I've dabbled in Rage comics.
Don't know how to find them. That's sad. They're gone forever.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lucas DeRuyter, and I am archiving every episode of American Dad. I think that's what I'm about. That's what I'm trying to preserve.
So you're torrenting an ongoing TV show, and I'm preserving it. No, it's totally moral. I'm preserving it for the future.
And then ripping the download, saving it as an MP4 on an external hard drive to preserve for future generations. Yes, exactly.
And then packaging that hard drive with a image that you found on Google Images and
on a plastic sleeve.
Yeah, and then going to a swap meet and saying,
putting a slightly altered name on it.
Yeah. American Father. And then you're like, seasons 1 through 24.
And it has a picture of Peter Griffin on the front.
Listen, I know not everyone is in the know on this, but American Dad in a very precarious position right now with the Warner Discovery Zaslav takeover. Like, he wanted to cut that show. He wanted to nail American Dad to the cross, but outstanding business obligations prevented him from doing this. So
he had to make sure that they kept the Ezra Miller Flash movie in production while cutting the Henry Cavill Superman movie.
Do we have a date for the Flash movie yet?
I think we've had like 6 dates. That's better than 1, right?
I can't believe their solution to this was, we'll put Ezra in rehab and then all is forgiven after they had committed stuff like child endangerment and maybe kidnapping?
Yeah. Little light kidnapping.
Today was the finale of American Dad, right? Or is the finale? Season finale?
It airs on Tuesdays, so yes, tonight will be Mondays. What? When is it there?
Today's a Monday.
Oh, God.
And also, it's the season finale of American Dad.
Hooray!
It says still renewed.
Yeah.
So
they got one more season contracted for TBS.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers would never cut something even after it was finished being made, right?
You thought they would have done that for American Dad, but no. They played hardball. I'm choosing to be optimistic right now. Got one more left.
There you go.
And we got plenty left to talk about in News of the Week. Congress is writing a letter to developers behind popular games asking what they're doing to combat harassment and extremism. I have an early copy of some of their responses. Just, on one word on a nice cardstock that says nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Or just, what?
It seems like a you problem.
Please rephrase.
It really is wild when you think about it, how little or how much video game companies don't care or are willing to tolerate some of this stuff so long as they have an ongoing user base. Like, I don't know, I work in community management and they can definitely decide internally that oh, hey, we have credible proof that one person called the other person the F word, the extra bad F word. They're done. They're out. They're violating terms of service. But no.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go on a limb and say that there's only one bad F word to call a person.
That's fair.
Is that just me?
Yeah.
If you call someone a fuck, it's like, all right. That's almost funny. I don't.
What if you call him fruity, Ryan?
True. That's like a diet shitty F word for the same group of people. But I assumed that fuck would be the other one. I don't know if there's any others. There very well might be. A Frenchman. Oh, you don't want that.
Froggy.
The worst of them all.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of video game companies willing to cater to harassment and extremism, and people trying to make those more of a thing. Proponents of extremism. Yeah.
I mean, I would argue that the people that commit harassment and everything like that are probably hardcore users of those products. So in a lot of ways, those video game companies, it's in their best interest to allow the harassment to continue, because the people that quit because of harassment probably weren't the whales in the first place that were making them all the money. So you'd rather cater to the hardcore fans that love their slurs.
Honestly, it was a big factor in why I kind of cycled out of Overwatch 2.
I saw you playing it. You're playing it this weekend.
Season 2 started. I wanted to see where I could re-rank. I'm back in silver, and it's like, okay, fine. Whatever. I can get out of this. But
not gonna chase gold again.
No.
Didn't go well last time.
Oh, that's chasing the dragon, man. That is the problem with ranking in Overwatch is that it doesn't make any sense. If I could see just a little bit more of the numbers going on in the background, then maybe I'd be more inclined to keep at it to figure out how to improve. But I don't know, if it's just win-loss numbers, it feels like, I don't know, my rank should be increasing a lot more quickly or in bigger intervals than what it actually is. So, it's tough.
Yeah, the only game that I have experience with ranking is Rocket League, and it basically just works that way. It goes by pure, unadulterated win-loss.
Mm-hmm.
Not every win or every loss drops you a sub-rank. They have Platinum 1, Division 3, and then you can go up to Platinum 1, Division 4, and then Platinum 2, Division 1, stuff like that.
Yeah. So
it's not every time, but at least half the time, if you win or lose, it goes up or down. So it's pretty obvious that nah, you lost. That was dumb of you. Why would you do that shit? You're going down, son. I don't know.
Maybe it is raw win-loss numbers, but I would be surprised surprised. I would be disappointed if it didn't factor in things like, hey, you got play of the game for 5 out of those 7 games that you won. We can bump you up a little higher for that.
Yeah, or you led your team in, points. That gives you a percentage boost over what the algorithm actually does. I don't know. I feel like they're making something.
You quit out of 3 of those last 10 matches. We're dropping you a rank, something like that. That would be great. Please.
I remember one time for shits and giggles, back when we were playing Call of Duty Black Ops pretty intensely, me and my friends,
Yeah.
I made an alt account and tried to see how high I could get the KD.
You smurfed?
Just for the respect.
Yeah.
And no, I would dashboard every single match that I had below like a 5 KD. Like, because it was pretty easy at a certain point, like a couple games out of the year's life cycle, everyone who was playing was pretty trash.
Mm-hmm.
So like probably 75% of games I could go at least like 20-4 or something.
Jesus.
But then the ones that I couldn't, I would just dashboard. And then you'd roll up into a lobby and someone would be like, holy, because everyone was just checking each other's KDs before the match. Because the lobby wasn't like modern lobbies where you like come in and out. It was like, dude, that dude just went like 37-2 against us. Like, what the fuck is his deal? And then they go in and they're like, how do you have a 7.4 KD? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Are you a pro player? And it would just be like, hey, I just play this on the weekend. It's pretty chill. It's whatever. And just like the weird subtle flex of a 15-year-old playing way too much Call of Duty.
Ron, I don't know if you know this or not. Andrew and I discovered this over the weekend. Current Call of Duty multiplayer, current Call of Duty deathmatch, team deathmatch, no K to D ratio anymore.
There is in the very post match, not on the scoreboard while you're playing, but in the post match there is.
I also think it might depend on the game mode. Like,
yeah, it definitely depends on the game mode.
Hard point and capture the flag, kill confirmed. I don't think do, but like free for all and team deathmatch might. Yeah.
Okay.
Any objective based game mode, they're trying to disincentivize kills and deaths. They do count kills, but yeah, not deaths.
That's good. That's good. Otherwise, yeah, it wouldn't be quite on the level of them getting rid of the scoreboard temporarily in Battlefield. But yeah, if you don't have a K to D ratio in Call of Duty, what the fuck are you doing?
What's even the point?
Right?
Yeah, the only game that me and Andrew played that was like actual Call of Duty and not just like shipment insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember it was Team Deathmatch, and I was just fucking stomping fools.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I think I did well. And I
did real bad.
Andrew led a different game, so it wasn't like all up and down. But I didn't see the deaths during the match. I was just like, oh shit, I got like 27 kills. And then after the match ended, they had like a post-match scoreboard, which had the kills and deaths. So I don't know. They did some fucking market research, like they don't make those decisions willy-nilly. Unless it's dice, and then they do, and then they die for it.
Yeah. Speaking of deaths, okay, this isn't a death blow, but this one might hurt a little bit. The FTC fines Epic Games $520 million for doing things that seemingly every live service game does, including violating COPPA guidelines, enticing kids to gamble. Yeah,
Everyone knows Fortnite. They got that target on their back now.
Right?
It's like how when like every school shooting would get blamed on Call of Duty, and it's just like, that's the game people know. Like, there's way worse and more violent games than Call of Duty. Yeah. And also obviously like the whole violent video games causing mass shootings is fucking bonkers. But yeah, no, like when you're the king, this is what happens to you. You're the one that the Congress people know. You're the one Ryan, that the pressure goes to.
The two Nazi kids who did Columbine played Doom. So obviously all video games are evil.
It's literally the same argument as the gateway drug. Like, it's literally just, the people who are willing to do heroin would also be willing to smoke weed because, heroin's much worse than weed. So obviously they would smoke weed first. Same shit. The people who love violence and like killing things, they probably do play video games that involve violence and killing things. Like, doesn't mean that one's causing the other. It's just, that's how it works. Survivorship bias, I guess.
I don't know what Epic's books look like. I'm assuming $520 million for them is relatively affordable. But this is setting an interesting precedent. It definitely feels like they're making an example of Epic Games in this case, but also there's a lot of legal video game stuff kind of up in the air right now. Biggest among them being the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And I don't know. This is kind of setting an example of, wait, the government understands video games a little bit now. And
they understand business. I mean,
right.
They don't know what Call of Duty is, or, they don't know what Overwatch is, but they understand that the biggest video game company buying all of the other video game companies is like an antitrust issue.
Right.
They don't know how to, win a match of Fortnite, but they know what loot boxes are because it's gambling.
Conceptually, they understand video games. And I know these examples are probably outdated, but I think a lot of people still default to, in the 90s, Congress talking about whether or not Doom and Mortal Kombat are okay to exist or not, and being just entirely clueless about that artistic medium. But now they're legislating it, which I wish the U.S. government was better, but it's good that this business is being regulated, I guess.
They're coming along, but they still got a ways to go. Like when I hear, oh no, they're selling bad shit to kids and it's damaging. It's like, sure, but it's also like a functional game. Like outside of that, like fucking Roblox is like,
Roblox is scary.
Roblox is, the whole thing is just problematic, trying to get kids to buy shit without understanding what they're doing. Like that's the game with Roblox. Like they're all just mini games trying to get kids to buy shit, and they don't really understand that they're buying shit. Like that's the whole game.
It's an entire pyramid of people fighting over scraps, over just the smallest amounts of money that they're extorting, that they're tricking children into giving them.
Right. Well, and that's just the developer side, like the trying to get kids to like make games and stuff. Like now talk about the consumers, like the kids who aren't trying to make games, who just are like completely bombarded constantly in every single menu with like microtransactions. Like, but it's another one of those things. Like it's coming.
Yeah.
Maybe. Probably not. Who knows?
Now that we've talked about stuff that's coming, let's talk about stuff that went. This week was the 25th anniversary of the seizure episode of the Pokemon anime.
That sounds rather infamous.
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
This is the origin of like the problematic trope of Japanese television gives you seizures. Anime is evil. Anime is killing kids. This episode. Yeah.
So there's just a bunch of flashing lights.
Correct.
Yeah. Did anyone die?
No. Bunch of kids got hospitalized though.
Yeah, I'm sure. Seizures ain't great.
No.
The frames which cause the seizures are a 4-second section in which Pikachu uses an electric attack on a group of vaccine missiles. Is that?
They're in a digital world in this episode because it's the computer Pokemon Porygon.
Oh, it's Porygon.
Yeah.
What is a vaccine missile, though?
I think Team Rocket successfully programmed the computer to think that while they are inside of it, they are viruses, and vaccine missiles kill viruses.
That kind of vaccine missile.
Yeah.
That's what vaccines do. They kill something after an infection. So dumb.
This is dumb. This is also the language of Digimon, so I'm giving Pokemon a pass, because at least they only dip their toe in this shit.
That's probably fair. So is this the origin of like seizure warnings as well?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow. This is the first time that someone was just like, oh, we really fucked up.
Yeah.
We have just completely done it. Do they have it? Is it on here? I'll watch it.
Boy. Bulbapedia, Bulbagarden.
Do I have... What's it called? Test...
Epilepsy.
Yeah. Do I have epilepsy test?
They have a screenshot.
Epilepsy test when you have epilepsy challenge, parentheses, impossible. You know it would be a thing. Yeah, I don't see it. I do see the screenshot with the most of the screen being red.
Yeah.
Oh, for health and safety reasons, please click on the image to view the animation. Okay, but that's not nearly fast enough. It's just 2 frames.
Oh boy.
They need to loop it a lot faster, but I think they're chickening out. They're like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was much faster than that. Wow, that's really lazy animation. I'm not going to lie to you, though. They just alternated between a red and blue square for like 4 seconds.
Yep.
Good shit.
That was enough. That was enough to fuck up a bunch of kids.
Damn. News just came in that Jalen Hurts is questionable, Andrew.
Oh no.
Yeah, I just got that notification.
And I saw Andrew looking away and I was like, I think I know what that was. Hey, I know someone in the Cuck Bowl who needs another player and has a quarterback.
I don't want to reward Ian, but
we don't have a trade deadline. I fought against that shit. I was like, this is dumb. We can make trades in the playoffs. And everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, that's so bad, but okay.
This is how you get people doing like under the table shit.
Right. I'm in a meaningless game. Like I'm playing for 5th. What's stopping me from influencing this whole thing? Like, oh, it's collusion. Like, what if I really want 5th place and I'm selling a player I don't need? Like,
yeah, like what?
Impossible to tell.
What if I just like hit up Ian? I'm like, hey, you want to be a homie? Yeah, no, it's collusion. It's bad, but.
I don't want to be a homie, but like if you're giving him a starter quality player and he's giving you a starting quarterback for the championship, like everyone's going to be hyper analyzing that trade, regardless of if it's collusion or not. I don't know.
Viz raises Shonen Jump subscriptions from $1.99 to $2.99 a month.
Damn. How will anyone who watches anime afford it?
Reads manga.
Yes. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion on this other than this is still very affordable and worth the price tag. And like, I understand there are some ethical reasons not to support Viz as a company since they have unfortunately continued to employ and publish and pay, people who have done some really not okay things to women and other marginalized groups. If you don't want to support them because of that, totally fair. If you don't do that and just pirate this manga, then like fuck off. What, you can't afford $3 a month, man? Come on.
I think you're overestimating the people who read manga regularly.
That's fair.
They might not have any income.
No.
Let's just say.
Hey kids, if you want to be cool, you want to read manga ethically, go into your mom's purse, read off that credit card, and don't forget the 3 wacky digits on the back.
The expiration and those 3 wacky digits in the back. Subscribe to Shonen Jump specifically.
They got so much cool shit in there. They got Hunter x Hunter again. They got Chainsaw Man. They got One Piece.
I feel like this is the new, like whenever anyone talks about like the stages of moral development and everything, there's the stage where it's like, that's illegal, therefore it's immoral. And then the following stage where you finally understand that the world is like fucking gray. And it's just like, what if someone is stealing food to feed their starving kid? It's like, is that really immoral? And people finally fucking understanding that. That's the next level, is like, what about kids stealing their parents' credit cards to pay a measly $3 a month subscription so that they cannot pirate IP? That's you gotta understand that. That's clearly there's a gray area here.
I don't want to play the game because reviews suggest that it's not actually all that great, but in Justin Roiland's new game, High on Life, I guess there is just a literal trolley problem in the game.
Ah. That's
and
fun.
That you cannot advance through that stage until the trolley hits either the one person on the tracks after you flip the lever or the 5 people on the tracks if you don't hit the lever.
Damn. That would actually be interesting if like those were characters that you knew, and then you also had the added moral quandary of like, oh, this one person's a fucking doctor who's who's only 40 years old and has already cured 10 infectious diseases and is working on more. And then these 5 people are
serial killers.
Yeah, these 5 people are the bad guys. But their moms are watching. That's pretty fucked up. You really gonna make the mom watch their kid die? Yes.
It's also fucked up that Elon has made it against Twitter's terms of service to link to other social media platforms or multi-link platforms, thereby defeating much of the point of Twitter. This happens as Tesla stocks plummet, and it was also pointed out later that this is actually illegal under law created by the European Union.
And they also undid it.
Yeah.
Like they immediately walked it back.
And now
it was dumb.
Has a fucking poll out.
Yeah, I was going to say, how's
should
that
I resign
poll
as
doing?
CEO of Twitter?
He lost. I mean, like...
it's over?
Yeah.
Like, officially?
Yep.
What did he say?
Like a couple hours later, he tweeted, "Careful what you wish for, you just might get it," and then never addressed it, as far as I can tell. Oh yeah, see... So should I step down as head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of this poll. 57% voted yes.
Yeah.
There was 17.5 million votes. So that means like 8.5 million people voted yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then he said, as the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. And then he reposted a bunch of stuff about the quote unquote Twitter files. And then that was it.
What the fuck are the Twitter files? This has never made sense to me.
The Twitter files are a bunch of, I mean, it's bullshit.
Right.
It's all about like how it's showing that the United States government and Twitter colluded to like take down conservative politicians and people on Twitter that had conservative viewpoints and promoting liberal ideology while pushing vaccines and shit like that. And it's all just like, the FBI stepped in and said, hey, there's people on here that are like plotting terrorist events. You need to get them out of here. And then Twitter said, sounds good. And then like they banned Trump after January 6th. And it's all just pointing out shit that's like totally fine.
Right.
But like saying it in the way that makes it sound like there's like the CIA is trying to brainwash conservatives. It's all bullshit, but Elon is like fully bought into it and is like actively saying the Democratic Party made COVID to kill you.
I think there was some semi-credible, like there was like a staffer from the DNC who was like reaching out to an account executive at Twitter talking about like people specifically sharing this one nude video of Hunter Biden and shit.
Well, yeah, that was one of the original, because there's like 5 parts of the Twitter files. It
got like, more and more progressively insane, but it's just like, a believable thing that happens in politics that is not a fucking scandal of like suppressing conservative law. Like, take down this video of a nude son of a presidential candidate, and then they did, because of course they would.
Yeah, but no one cares about that. I mean, like
no one should care. Conservatives care. No one who is going to vote for Joe Biden gives a fuck about Hunter Biden's big dick. Like, no one gives a shit. But boy, conservatives really do.
Independents, maybe. Independents are weird. Undecided voters, they're like, well, if his kid has a big dick, Joe Biden probably has a big dick, and we need that in the Oval Office.
That big dick energy.
You can't let a president with a big dick take office. All the blood will go to the dick, and he won't make good decisions.
Is dick size hereditable, or is that what we're arguing?
I don't know.
Hereditary?
There needs to be a study.
Yeah, has there been a study? I don't know. I'm sure it is to some extent, right? Like in generalizations, but I don't think it's as simple as like a Punnett square that we learned in like middle school, where it's like, he has the recessive small dick gene, but the dominant big dick gene, he's got a mix, but he could pass that recessive small dick gene, and then you're just shit out of luck, my friend. Like, I don't know.
Okay, top result is penis size hereditary.
Glad that's on your search history and not mine.
From Healthline, and is using an image of someone gripping a slightly longer cactus, which Okay.
Like slightly longer than what?
Another cactus.
Oh,
just 2 cacti.
Yeah.
Why are you gripping That seems like a bad
weird
idea in the first place, but okay.
I feel like they could have chosen something else phallic.
Yeah, banana.
Oh boy, opening
Eggplant.
sentence. Yes, penis size is genetic, but it's a little more complex than your parent having a smaller, bigger, hairier peen, so yours will turn out like that too.
God.
The fact that they use the word peen in this article immediately makes me want to discredit everything on Healthline.
You know what? I'll tell you what. A little more complex than do your dad got a schlong or not? That's what my friend Jimmy Smits. That's what he said. It's like he majored in biology, not at all related.
He's like, let me tell you, man. Buddy. I've seen my dad's dick a lot, and it looks just like mine.
Also, okay, they do note that the DNA you inherit from your mother could have a significant impact in.
Of course it would.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Are people fucking dumb? How dumb are fucking people? Isn't it so sad sometimes? Like, it's just like, I get
the woman genes from my mom and I get the man genes from my dad.
Sons inherit 100% of their genes from their dad and daughters inherit 100% of their genes from their mom.
That's why there's only
girl.
That's why every woman and every man look exactly the same as every other respective man or woman. Because going back to our common ancestor, you just get genetic clones of your parents.
It's sad. I guess sometimes you run into the average person and you're like, oh, you're smarter than 50% of the planet. Like, yikes.
I mean,
we're in trouble.
This is also a world where a man who owns a rocket ship company is probably about to lose his seat, hopefully about to lose his leadership position on both a social media platform and on an electric self-driving car company.
He just wouldn't be the decision maker anymore of Twitter. He'd still own it, and he'd still probably have a lot of say.
Super reluctantly, but
he just wouldn't do it in public.
I guess that's another thing. That's a part of this whole conversation that everyone's forgetting, that he publicly did not want to buy Twitter. He does not want to be Twitter's CEO right now. He wanted to do that.
He wanted to buy Twitter, but he offered like $40 billion for a $10 billion company publicly and submitted a thing that said, like, I will buy this company as a joke for $40 billion. And then they're like, yeah, we'll do that. And it was like, whoa. I don't want to, I mean, let's talk it down. Like, I think you guys are probably only worth like half that, right? And like, you made an offer. It's like the no take backsies in fantasy football trades.
Yeah. Wait, I offered too much on my first offer. Now I want to go down. And it's like, no, you made the offer, friend. This is it, son.
But there's a bot problem. You knew that when you made the offer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of FIFA. There's a lot of FIFA 23, not to bring you back to FIFA, as I always do. There's a lot of FIFA 23 dynamic cards in the early part of the season. So like during the World Cup, if a team wins a game, the card gets better. So there's a lot of people gambling on like someone winning the game by like investing in a card and buying it before the game and then hoping they can sell it after the game, after they've won and they're like guaranteed an upgrade. And like, there's this phenomenon where like people bid on a card with like 30 minutes left to go in the game and they're stuck at that bid. They're like, you bid 100,000 coins. You can't take that bid back. And then the play, like, you know, because they bid when they're up 2-0 and they're like, okay, they're going to get the upgrade. I'm going to put this bid in. And then no one else bids. And then they drop like 3 goals in a row and they lose. And then the card crashes in value down to like 20,000 coins. And they just have to like sit there helplessly as the clock ticks down and no one else places a bid and they're stuck buying out this card for like 80,000 coins more than it's worth. And it just makes me laugh every time.
No, I was left holding the bag.
Yeah.
Also, congrats Argentina. Congrats Messi winning the World Cup. That's...
I'm glad that Messi, finally getting some recognition.
He's actually a genuinely pretty good guy to be like the sports goat, Like I feel like most goats have some weird skeleton shit going on. Messi's genuinely just like a nice, chill, like homebody who doesn't doesn't really get up to much. There's a lot of stuff going around on TikTok about like whether or not he's like on the spectrum somewhat, and I don't know if that's necessarily like healthy. It seems kind of problematic, but like no, he's genuinely just like kind of a socially awkward guy who married his high school sweetheart and hangs out at home a lot. Like he doesn't kind of get up to too much when you compare him to like Michael Jordan and fucking Tiger Woods and shit. Like, it's like, ooh, yeah, they kind of got a good one. You take that. Tom Brady. It's like, you take that.
Guys, come on, soccer's my pussy.
Yeah, I mean, kind of though. High key.
All right, that's gonna take us. Oh, go for it.
I was just gonna say, like, to wrap up the Elon stuff. Like, there were some other talking points that have come out. You know, just like, you know, there was the other app shit getting shut down, like you talked about, which you know they've walked back. There's Elon jokingly putting out a poll saying, "Hey, you guys want me to be gone?" and everyone's saying, "Yeah." But also there was the whole thing involving like doxing Elon.
Oh, right.
Journalists.
Yeah.
So, to give some backstory to this, I should have put this in the planning document. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
There was the Elon Jet guy who did not start that account with like the intent of being like, I don't like Elon. Let's all find Elon. It was just like, I love Elon so much. I want to know where he is at all times. And like putting out tweets saying like, Elon's jet just landed here. Elon's jet just chartered a flight to here. Like, you know, blah, blah, blah. Elon asked him not to do that. He's like, what if I worked for you? Yeah. What if I was like your intern? He's like, no. He's like, well, I'm going to keep doing it then. And then Elon eventually, you know, now that he's the head of Twitter, banned that guy.
Yeah.
And then some journalists started writing stories about how like this guy just got banned for talking about Elon. And then he banned
doing
everyone.
A thing that's protected under the First Amendment as decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. Like this is,
Well, and like Elon's whole thing was, you know, when empowering right-wing white supremacists over the last several weeks is, I'm a free speech absolutionist, I think is what he said. Free speech is more important than personal safety to any one individual being. And then as soon as it was about him, he said, my life and my like family's life was in danger. You can't let someone just have free speech when it endangers people. And then he like started banning all journalists that like talked about the story and like linked to the story, because he's saying that counted as doxing. Talking about the doxing incident counted as doxing because that was giving away his like location. Also, like apparently like a stalker followed the car his kid was in. Maybe that also has like not been corroborated, but that was his reasoning. It was like people were following the car that had my kid in it, and that's why I decided to make this choice of like banning these people. And they're like, we can't find any evidence of that happening. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but still that has nothing to do with the location of your plane.
Yeah. Your child in a car, not
with him. Yeah. Just with a driver.
Probably shouldn't be like, everyone kind of agrees that paparazzi that like follows people around as they walk around and like shit like that. Yeah. That's kind of scummy and sketchy. I don't think most people want those people to be like put to death or anything, but it's like, nah, don't do that. But yeah, like where your private jet, which is obligated by the government to report like where it's going and its travel plans and everything, or else like it'll be severe FAA violation. Mm-hmm. Like the information has to be public and available in order for everyone to be safe. And you basically Mr. Incredible and syndromed this kid who looked up to you and just wanted like to, I don't know, have a fucking internship and shit. And you were like, no, I work alone. And he was like, oh, I'm going to rip your poster down and start posting your jet's location even harder. I don't know. It's dumb. But yeah, there's since been a lot of alternate social media site Elon jet trackers that have popped up all over the place, which is great.
Boy, do I want to make the jump to Mastodon, but as it has been best described by other people, this seems like a social media website that'll be good to go in 5 years, and that's the exact same state it was in 5 years ago.
Also, like, the biggest place where people would go to, like, find information about Mastodon and, like, get people to like go over to that platform to start, making it a better community would be Twitter.
Yeah.
And Twitter has been suppressing any posts about Mastodon.
Right. What a world. Okay, Twitter, no longer a place to report news if you're a journalist or link to anything else you have going on the internet. What are we here for then? What do we do? What's the point? The point on this podcast is that we're going to talk about 1899.
1899 is a show that came out in November of 2022 on Netflix. It's a Netflix exclusive from the creators of Dark, a show that I know Ryan has talked about a lot in the past.
Show that I tried to get some people to watch that may or may not be on this podcast, but yes.
You're talking about me or Lucas?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe both. Who knows?
I think I was interested in Dark, and I think I felt intimidated by the fact that I was going to be getting in super late, and it would have to catch up, and 2, the fact that it was all in German, and also 3, the fact that you said it was like one of the most complex, hard to follow shows you ever watched.
It was.
So
doesn't mean it's not good.
I probably should have given it a try. Maybe I will after this.
Probably still can. It was only 26 episodes. I don't think it's not like you're catching up with 100 episodes of a TV show. You can do it.
1899 is a show about a passenger ship in, you guessed it, 1899, with passengers from all over Europe and also Asia, traveling together from Europe to New York City. Or is it? I can't tell you what it's really about, because I don't fucking know. I know that it's really enjoyable to watch, and like each episode, like when it ends, I go, what the fuck? I need to know what happens next, because there's a lot of shit going on. But I can't tell you not that I would, because I wouldn't want to give you spoilers, but like I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, it's a show that makes you think it's about this, but in reality, there's this other stuff going on. I can't tell you what that is. I don't know. There's a lot of science fiction and or magic and or psychosis going on. Don't really know what's real, what's not. Yeah.
So is it like an ensemble cast thing? Like it's following multiple storylines as they overlap and...
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're all speaking different languages and no one can understand each other.
Subtitles? Can the audience understand?
Like the whole thing is subtitles.
Okay.
I'd say that like the most common language being spoken is English, because like there's a couple of characters that happen to speak English and use it as their common language.
Yeah.
But it's like the crew is all German. The passengers are made up of like Danish, Polish, and French passengers. And then there's like an English woman. And then there's a Cantonese woman who's pretending to be Japanese, who then speaks both Cantonese and Japanese. Like a lot of the workers are Polish, like that work in the engines. A lot of the first class passengers are French. A couple of the passengers are Spanish and or Portuguese, depending on who you ask and what time it is.
The language would be a giveaway, I think, but okay.
Yeah. No, I think they're like actually Portuguese, but they're pretending to be Spanish. Or one of them is Spanish and the other one's Portuguese, and they kind of alternate which language they speak. I don't know.
Leave it to the Germans to like make these impressive but annoying shows. Like it's like, wow, I really respect the craftsmanship going into this product, but like, fuck, why did you do it?
You're making it much harder on me, the viewer, than I want it to be.
Dude, I'm
it's
telling
good,
you. Netflix literally published a character map for Dark, and then they're like, oh, wait, there's a lot of spoilers and something like that. Let's subdivide it by episode. You can click on each episode, and it'll tell you who's connected to who that you know of at that moment. And then each episode it updates with whatever came from the last episode.
So I have seen, just super quickly, I've seen like the back end of those interactive character relationship maps. Whoever was in charge of that and then was told by execs, actually you need to have it like a layered per episode thing. So it's ever changing. They might be an alcoholic now. That is one of the most pain in the ass late game changes you can do to something like that. But continue, Andrew. I'm sorry.
So far, at least, it is not as complex as what you're making Dark seem like it was. You would be able to understand at least 5 episodes in, like that's where I am right now. I haven't finished the first season. You would be able to fully understand these people, their motivations and their relationships to each other without visual aids.
Sure.
But what is happening and like the nature of the reality in the show is not explained yet. I don't know if we're living in I don't know if this takes place in our reality or not. And like what's going on. I will say it's a bit of a spoiler. But like this was so funny. It was not supposed to be a funny moment in this show. There's a point where there's some crazy shit happening on the boat and everyone's being affected except for like a handful of people. One of them runs down to the boiler room of the ship and starts fucking with some machinery. And like a guy comes out to him and is like, hey, you're not supposed to be down here. And the dude just pulls out a flashlight. And this is 1899. And he's like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that?
All right. Here comes the timey-wimey bullshit.
I was going to ask.
I'm telling you, that's what happens with Dark. You're like, oh, it's pretty straightforward. That one person goes back in time that one time and then gets trapped in time. And then that's how it starts. You're like, now they've got to rescue that one person that went back in time and got trapped in time. No. That's it. Never ends that way. Trust me. And it gets way deeper than you could possibly imagine. Oh yeah, here it is, by the way. I found the link. It's dark.netflix.io. And it's like, Netflix actually published it. But I don't think they actually did. And you can literally select it. And there's loud music in my headphones right now. The Dark music is in my headphones and it's very loud. Okay. There you go. So if you ever do watch it, I'll give you the link.
Yeah. Good to know.
I do want you guys to watch this show if you have the time, just so that I can get your perspective on, is this actually good or is there just a lot of twists? Because I really like it. I know we're getting down to the end of the year, so not going to pressure you too hard. But if you have the time, give it a chance. I think it's worth it.
I love that. I love that is your headspace for this show right now. Is it good or am I just getting Shyamalan? What's happening here? I have the link right now to something I watched and enjoyed. Super Eye Patch Wolf's Chainsaw Man video on YouTube. 1.5 hours long. I very much enjoyed it. It's him talking a lot about why that series is so meaningful to me and maybe a lot of other people. It's actually weird. It's actually weird because I've written stuff about Chainsaw Man. He touches on some similar points as what I do. I think I do it better than him in those parts, but I'm biased, obviously. So let's let the public decide. And then, much like as Chainsaw Man merits, there is a point in the video towards the end, 10 minutes left on the counter. And he's pretty much like, yep, that's what Chainsaw Man's about. These 3 broken people coming together, finding out that they love each other, and then growing from the experience. End credits roll, blah, blah, blah. And then he turns to the camera, and then it cuts to his face, and then he says, okay, now that the fucking babies have gone to bed, let's talk about what Chainsaw Man is really about. And then proceeds to describe the events of like the last 20 chapters of the first part of Chainsaw Man, which I thought was fun. Yeah. Ryan, how's FIFA? How's you still watching Survivor? Is that what you were doing the other night?
The Survivor season finale happened.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Who won?
This fucking dude.
Oh.
Like, picture, if you will, it's the top 6.
Yeah.
You've got fucking Jesse. He's like the mastermind manipulator who's never won a single challenge, but almost every single vote, he's run the whole thing. He revealed in the finale, by the way, after he got voted out, that he just finished his PhD in political science and he wrote his entire thesis on voting behavior, and he's studied voting behavior over the last 30 years and was just fucking manipulating everyone like perfectly because he knew exactly what it would take to like get everything to go his way. And he actually, I take it back, he didn't get voted out. He lost a challenge that decided whether he would go to the final 3 or not. He never got voted out. He only got 1 vote the entire season. So there's him. There's fucking Cody, his sidekick, his duo partner, who's winning all the challenges and kind of taking on the physical aspect of this. There's Carla, who's led the resistance to this dominating factor and was really in a powerful position, but now she's kind of fallen down because her allies have all been voted out systemically. There's fucking Cassidy, who is Carla's number 1 ally, but Cody and Jesse have swung her against Carla. Oh no. There's fucking Owen, who's always been underfoot, but you know what? He's hanging in there and scrapping along. And then there's Gabler. He's a guy. he won a challenge once. That's about it.
You're doing the bit from Community. You're just doing, oh man, it's the Coogler from Community, but yeah. Gabler. Oh my God.
His name is Mike Gabler. He's a heart valve specialist, and he's just kind of an old guy. He's like in his 50s, and everyone else is younger. And in the beginning of the season, he was like falling apart due to lack of nutrition, but has just kind of hung out and hung in there somehow and won 1 competition once. And then that's it. So you go, and it's the final 6, and fucking, oh my God, Jesse betrays Cody. The manipulator betrays his sidekick. It was insane. He stole his idol, played it so that he could flush out Carla's idol, and fucking sent him packing. And it was like, holy shit, what a cold ass move. He did that to his homie. And even Cody had to stand up and shake his hand and be like, damn, like, holy shit, I did not think you would do that to me.
Should have had a little more Machiavelli in that thesis paper, bud.
No, Jesse's the one that did the Machiavelli. Oh! Yeah, no, oh God, yeah.
Oh my clap. No, Jesse. Poli sci degree going to work.
Yeah, the mastermind manipulator. And then next episode, it's the top 5. Carla's all alone. There's nothing she can do. She lost her idol because Jesse's master play. Now she's got no way to avoid her vote. So she's heading home, and Jesse uses his idol even though he doesn't really get any votes. He only gets the 1 like token vote from Carla so that she can ruin his perfect record. And now it's top 4. It's basically Jesse and 3 other people who don't really belong there. And they have a challenge, and Owen wins. So he's going to the final, or no, Cassidy wins. So she's going to the final 3. And then Cassidy has to decide who she's taking with her. So she decides to take Owen because he's done okay in some challenges, and she thinks that maybe he's her biggest threat to win the whole thing. So that makes Gabler, a guy, having to face off against Jesse in a fire-making challenge. And fucking Gabler, they sit down and Jesse's like, oh man, I'm not very good at making fire. This might suck. I haven't won a challenge all year. I'm not good at this. This sucks. I'm so mad. I'm so close to $1 million. All I have to do is make fire. And they're kind of setting it up for like he's going to do it. He's going to come from behind, the little guy. And then he's going to win the whole thing because he deserves it. And Gabler's just a guy. He's malnourished. so he won't be able to make a fire. Meanwhile, Gabler's been wearing fucking camo this whole season and wearing this big old beard, and you're like, this looks like the most outdoorsy motherfucker by far in the whole group. So we'll see about this Survivor. And then, the fire-making challenge starts, and Gabler's just fucking out the gate, just demolishing Jesse, like destroying him to the nth degree. Like, it's unbelievable. He breaks the record for fastest fire in Survivor history. It's been 20 plus years. No one's ever made a fire as fast as this dude. So Jesse goes home and he's crying and everyone's like, damn, that sucks. And then it was like, well, now we got to pick between three people, like one who was a sidekick, one who was just never really able to do anything and was always kind of the underdog, and a guy. And so they gave the $1 million to the guy because he kind of like, he called him, he was like, back in the vote when we got Ellie out, I threw out her name, and then I realized that some heat might come to me, so I sunk beneath the water like an Alligabler. And everyone was like, we like that, and gave him $1 million.
You know,
Alligabler.
You know what might be the best scene in Squid Game? When the old man is catching Wise to the red light, green light game before everyone else and having a blast.
Yeah.
That's just what Gabler's doing this entire season.
Yeah. The whole season, he was like, oh, clever pun for sneaking beneath the water. What sneaks beneath the water? Alligators. My name's Gabler. Oh, shit. I think I got this wrapped up. And my question is, if Jesse would have been up there, would Alligabler have worked? Like, would that have actually still won him the $1 million? But anyway, I don't know. Afterwards, he said he was going to donate the entire prize money to veterans in need, like wounded veterans in need of healthcare, because he's done a lot of charity work with them throughout his career as a heart valve specialist, and his dad
heart valve specialist maybe doesn't need a mill, but okay.
Yeah, no, exactly. He doesn't really need the money, so he was like, I'm going to donate the whole thing. And he did say it after, like, the jury voted, like, he didn't use it as, like, a fucking token to try to, like, get it. So there's that. He seems like a chill enough guy, but it's just like, how the fuck did this guy win? Like, it's the final 6, and there were 3 people who deserved to win, and those 3 people didn't make it to the final 3, so it just kind of was left with, like, now who do we pick? I guess this guy. So it was still a fun time, decent season. So there you go.
I'm also having a fun time with the video game River City Girls 2, which was purchased for me by my fantastic partner Maria as my Christmas gift. She says hi to Andrew and Ryan only. Listeners, this is not for you.
Damn.
Stop it. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Beat the first boss and a little bit past them. This game is still fun, still has a lot of charm. It's still one of those very few pieces of media that features women existing and having a good time, like enjoying their womanhood, enjoying existing in a space and a narrative. And I enjoyed that a lot. The narrative device for why they're both back to level 1, why they have 0 XP.
Oh God.
Is also pretty charming. It's just that they got expelled from school and did nothing but play video games for 2 months, so they forgot how to fight.
It's better than Horizon Forbidden West.
How?
Oh, she had to go west and she lost her gear from doing it.
Yeah. Good video game. Enjoyed very much. Sprite artwork, still fantastic. Score is solid so far. I don't think I've yet hit the great tracks yet. There was one really good bit where early on you're in a mall. So then it's just the main theme of the first game playing through like mall speakers, very clearly empty mall speakers, like that one cover of Toto's Africa. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot clearly went into this, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Also, I take it back. I think Assassin's Creed is probably the worst. I'm realizing now that they made 3 Ezio games.
Yeah.
And I played all of them, and they never fucking addressed the fact that, like, you were basically a demigod endgame monster at the end of the last game, and now you're back to being a guy.
Those games... The scope of those games take place in a pretty tight time frame too, right? Like, this isn't Ezio over his entire life. This is...
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, it's very Dark Knight-esque. Like, in Assassin's Creed 2, he's a young man out to prove himself. In Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, he's like prime of his life, fucking absolutely murking everyone. And then Assassin's Creed Revelations, he's like an aging guy who's trying to pick up new tricks from, like, the young assassins. So... I don't know.
I actually realize now that in the third Batman movie, Bruce Wayne is very clearly older and hobbled.
Yeah, no,
and then he endures,
the knee scene.
Yeah, and then he endures maybe the worst injury of his career and bounces back from it in record time.
Oh, you banged me, Morty. You banged me.
Oh my god, can we talk about that in the group chat? Are we caught up on Rick and Morty?
I know, I didn't watch the finale.
Oh, okay.
I still have not seen the finale, but yeah, he did bane him. No, that injury would what? Like, you would basically need the medical care that real life Bruce Wayne would be able to have in the United States, and years of rehab to achieve a sense of normalcy.
Mm-hmm. You don't think they could just hang him up and punch him in the back really hard once?
We only saw it once. They probably did it for a while. No, I mean, maybe he didn't break his back. No, wait, he did say.
Yeah.
What's the exact line? There's a vertebra.
It was like his vertebra was out of place, and that's why they did the whole punching thing. It was they were pushing his spine back into shape.
Yeah.
It wasn't medically accurate.
There's a vertebra protruding from your back. That's the
Jeez.
That's the line.
A compound fracture of his spine.
Okay, they didn't say broke the skin. It could just be jutting out in an unnatural way. I don't think your spine can compound fracture.
I didn't think it could either, but I know that you can't fix it with a punch.
There's a Vulture article, Ask a Doctor, is Batman's healing method sound? I feel like there doesn't need to be a whole article for this. No. I feel like they can say no.
Real doctor reacts to Batman medicine.
Let's start with the vertebra being punched back into his back. Obviously, no, you can't do that. There's so many things you have to pay attention to. So many things going on in the nervous system. Spinal cord itself is extremely tender, needs to be protected. So yeah, that's ridiculousness. So if someone came to you with a vertebra sticking out of their back, you wouldn't punch it into place because you could damage the spinal cord. Is that correct? Yes. How would one actually put vertebra back in place without going to surgery? Is that even possible? Probably not. No.
a lot of leading surgery. Questions from this Vulture journalist.
Yeah. Why? This is my thing. When I was younger, it was like, oh yeah, I mean, just accept it. It's Batman. Let's go. Yeah. I'm sick of that now. Like now, every time I find a plot hole, it annoys me way more because now I understand writing. And it's like, a human being wrote this. I can come up with other solutions. Like, it's not like this is an impossible problem. And it's like, oh no, they backed themselves into a corner. I can come up with other solutions and other ways to like nurse him back to health, to write yourself out of this problem.
They could send him to a hospital.
Or they don't even have to break his back. Yeah, that's a cool shot.
They have to break his back.
Okay.
I'm going to take umbrage with that. They got to break his back.
What if they broke his legs or his hands?
No. The fact that Rick and Morty is referencing a decade later, he baned me, Morty, is the exact reason they need to break his back. That's fucking sick as hell and a perfect representation of how far Gotham and Batman by extension has fallen. Like, I appreciate the breaking the back. I can think of a few other ways to write yourself out of it other than having some guy come in and punch him. But like, yeah, I don't know, man.
Maybe less detail. Maybe like, yeah, dude, your back's really fucked up. You got to do physical therapy the entire time you're in here to get that right.
No.
Anything.
Bane is going to nurse you back to health so you can watch your city fucking die. Love it.
Like Batman gets mirrors and does spinal surgery on himself.
Wait, hold on. So we're postulating now that this is part of it. This was part of the scheme, that they knew there was the world's greatest spinal doctor in that pit who could get Bruce Wayne back to healthy enough to get out and then get over there just so they could see their machinations come to light. And the only reason they failed is because they discounted the human spirit, the belief the people of Gotham have in their community.
Yeah, no, the whole backstory that Bane told about how he came up in this pit and everything like that, that's all like Joker level bullshit. Yeah. He didn't do any of that shit. That was just, he did some internet research and was like, why is this like the greatest spinal cord doctor on the planet working in this prison in the middle of the Middle East. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Yeah, that works. Let's do it. That sounds cheaper than fucking Johns Hopkins. I love it.
And then I would be remiss if I did not mention that Andrew and I beat the Draconic Tree Sentinel outside of Lindell in Elden Ring.
So you guys remember last time we did this podcast, I talked about how I'd gotten frustrated where I was stuck in Elden Ring. How in order to progress and get into the next area of the map, I had to beat this guy who was a field boss that would kill me in one hit.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas popped in. I mean, it took 15 minutes because the multiplayer systems in Elden Ring are total garbage.
It was also a trial.
Bad, whatever.
It was also a trial to get to the Draconic Tree Sentinel. I spawned in, close the checkpoint was a little bit away. We had to walk over. We got invaded by some dude who was doing a bunch of flippity dips and was a real pain to take out. Yeah.
And then Lucas is like, all right, I'm gonna like take a position up here. You go around that way. And Lucas pressed the kill button. I shot him with a laser beam. You hit him with the Kamehameha, and he just died.
Yeah.
That was it.
Why didn't you do that?
Why don't you exercise a little more restraint, though, and let Andrew kind of fight, and then you come in later to...
I wasn't convinced that this would work, for one thing. I wasn't convinced that, this would work. And I told Andrew, I'm going to do a big attack. I don't know how effective this is going to be. You've made this, maybe there have been patches since I did the fight. You've made it out that this is a really difficult boss fight. So then I want you, outside of their aggro range, firing some long range attacks, doing chip damage in case, I'm able to whittle them down, but then, you gotta double tap this motherfucker. And then, the laser beam worked.
This is you guys know, we've all lifted weights in our time.
Yeah.
When you're spotting someone, you're taught that if they can't finish a rep, you don't grab the weight and pull it off them and bench it. You give them ever so slightly the exact amount of help they need to get over that hump so that they still get a use out of that rep. You're fucking Half-Thor Bjornsson, the mountain from Game of Thrones, spotting Andrew on a bench press, just curling his bench weight for him.
No.
When he can't do it.
He picked up the bench that I'm on.
Yeah.
and lifted me.
Yeah. And just all right, good workout, Andrew. High five.
Yeah. I mean, and then we went and fought a couple other bosses, and those were some trials. It took us a couple of times, even fighting together.
That Rykard fight.
Those were fun.
Yeah.
This fucking guy. Yeah, I mean, it's just, that's what, I was not frustrated with Lucas. I was frustrated with the game where it's the way that you get better at this game are you make your numbers bigger than theirs. That's it. It's not a skill thing. It's
definitely a skill thing too. Yeah. It's a combination. The way for a regular player to win this game is to, make your numbers bigger than theirs. But there's people who do no armor, no weapon runs of these games. And
shield only Elden Ring playthrough.
It takes hours and hours and hours of them just whittling down bosses and avoiding every single attack perfectly because they're that good at the game. It's a combo. And then most people fall somewhere in that spectrum of skill versus grinding.
We had to learn those Rykard attacks. We had to learn how to dodge some of those to take that fucker down. I think.
You had Tom Cruise in Live, Die, Repeat.
Yes.
Formerly known as
All You Need Is Kill.
No. It was Edge of Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Then it was All You Need. Well, no, the original Japanese translation is All You Need Is Kill.
Hardcore.
Then they called it Live, Die, or Edge of Tomorrow, and then its current name is Live, Die, Repeat.
I think it became Live, Die, Repeat officially. Okay. Great movie.
Yeah, no, it was actually really good.
Horrific title.
I don't know. We can talk a little bit about the upcoming Packer game in a second. But Andrew, I know we'll probably get into this more in the top 10s discussions. But I don't know. You being where you are in Elden Ring right now, playing a lot of Elden Ring, I don't know. What's your perspective on like this style of game, of From Software, of Demon Souls, not Demon Souls, Soulsborne games? Like, do you get it at all now? Do you understand why so many people are just freaks for this shit? Or is it still alien and weird to you?
I mean, it's somewhere in between. And it's like, I can see the appeal. I don't see why anyone would need to. I mean, like, because I've seen playthroughs of like some of the Dark Souls games and Sekiro and Bloodborne. They are all the same video game. I mean, they're made by the same people with the exact same mechanics.
Yeah.
And like everything is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the enemies that you fight, which is fine. But this is basically just a series of expansions on one game that came out 20 years ago. And I don't get how someone could like need so much more of this. I can see the appeal to a certain extent, but I've put 60 hours in this game and I'm pretty tired of it.
I don't know. Counterpoint. Like, you're one of the people who was like, I played all 3 Uncharted games and I am in line.
But you played it for the story. Like you played those games for the story. You don't play them for it's very subpar gunplay and shitty, platforming aspects. Like, you play it for the story and the spectacle. And are you getting really as much for your money, like in terms of like time spent in those games? No. Like, Elden Ring like is a game that can give you a couple 100 hours of gameplay for the same price. And like, that's cool. There's a lot of video game there.
So you have no appreciation, no affinity for the more obtusified lore and world building and story of Elden Ring. You want more of a concrete narrative. You're more of a fan of that.
Dude, I am a lore freak in a lot of video games that I play. Like, I really dive into that scummy wiki page back alley bullshit. And I've had to do that for Elden Ring just because of trying to learn where shit is and how to do things. And it has not really struck a chord with me.
That's fair. Packers play the Rams tonight. We gonna win?
If we lose, I mean, we are officially eliminated.
And then we get Jordan Love, hopefully, and that might be worth
Maybe
it.
not, the way that they're talking.
But if we win out, did you see we have a 76% chance to make the playoffs now?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no,
if we win every game, we're not almost certainly, but we're pretty likely to make the playoffs.
I ran through the scenarios today. If we win every game and the Seahawks win 1 or fewer games, the Giants don't win any games, which they're playing a bunch of good teams, and they're not doing great. The Commanders win 1 or fewer games and the Lions win 1 or fewer games, then we are in.
That makes it sound so much worse, though.
Well,
but I read it's 76% likely if we win out.
Right, because the chances of all those teams winning the games that they would have to win in order for them to get the same record as us and have the tiebreakers are slim.
Got it.
Because if we end up with the same record
the Lions at the very least.
If we end up with the same record as the Giants or the Lions, those teams would get in because they have the tiebreaker against us.
Right, but not if we beat the Lions.
Right.
I don't know how it works. I just read that. Like, people were just like, when who was it? The Seahawks lost? It was like our odds just shot up through the roof if we win out. Like, not that we're gonna win out. Like,
yeah, no, like we're playing some good, okay to good teams.
Right. The Dolphins and Lions are probably better than us. The Vikings somehow won and are definitely better than us. I don't know if they're actually good, but
they're not as good as their record, but they're better than us.
Yeah. So for us to win, I feel like we should win tonight. Doesn't mean we're gonna. It feels like we should. But have they announced a starter? Is it Baker?
Oh yeah, it's Baker.
Oh, it's Baker.
Yeah, it's Baker. It's Big Dick Baker.
Yeah, if he did that with 2 days of prep, imagine what he's gonna do with 11 days. Yeah. God damn. Well,
no. He has to stick to the same formula. He doesn't go to practice until 2 days before the game.
Yeah. Sean McVay actually drew up an entirely new playbook and gave it to him on Saturday. And he's had 2 days to study that one now.
Oh, you mean like the way that the Packers develop their wide receivers, apparently?
Yeah, the 60 hand signals or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, that they don't write down and don't tell anyone until the season starts because they don't want cut players giving the secrets away.
Well,
and
it's
then
not
also
even
Aaron
vague.
Rodgers
It's Aaron
isn't there.
Rodgers. Yeah, like the coaches don't even know all of them. Like,
yeah, and Aaron doesn't
just
show
Aaron
up to
Rodgers.
off-season shit because he says he doesn't need it, but then none of the players know how to understand what he's telling them to do. Yeah, it's a good system.
You know, a good question for this group. As we are now pretty much exactly 2 months away from the Super Bowl, and our fantasy league is shoring up in a way where Andrew seemingly has this locked, barring...
No, he doesn't.
No.
What?
Aaron's a better team than Andrew. You keep saying this.
Aaron's a better team
Look
than
at the
me,
record.
and my
They
quarterback
have the
probably
same
won't
record.
play, and like a big chunk of my offense is based on that one guy.
Forgive me for believing in my friend.
No, you can say
Forgive me.
hope
You
I
said
win.
this
You
last
can
week
root for me.
too.
Manifesting.
You were like, Andrew's the favorite, and it's like, no, Aaron scored more points, and they have very similar records. Like,
Manifesting.
Aaron's the favorite, not by that much, but he is.
Who do we have picked to win the Super Bowl?
I
I
feel like the Bills, but it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Eagles, maybe Cowboys.
I feel like the Bills are just far and away the most complete team, and that's what always emerges in the playoffs. It's like all the teams you listed have a lot of strengths, some of which are even better than the Bills, but like when people are still talking about the Bills without Von Miller as like their defense is a force to be reckoned with, it's like, okay, so like what and then what do you do against like the best quarterback wide receiver tandem in the NFL? That's not fair. So, I don't know. I think I'm stuck with the Bills, but they are kind of boring. It's a boring choice.
That's fair.
I don't know what the Vegas odds are. Vegas Super Bowl odds. I almost put a bet down for the first time until I found out that it's like questionably legal and might be hard to claim. Yeah, Bills are the favorites by a pretty decent margin. And then the Eagles and then the Chiefs. The Orlando Magic this weekend won their 5th game in a row. And what happened 5 games ago is they got their starting point guard back. They have the Rookie of the Year candidate, and they have 2 other young players who have really developed a lot this year. But they started the season 5-20. And then they won 5 games in a row to improve to 10-20. And things had changed since they got their point guard back. Their odds of winning their division were plus 17,000. So you would get 170 times your bet put in if you bet on them to win their division. They were only 5 games behind the Heat. The Heat were 15-15, and they were 10-20. And they were getting a lot better and looked like really good in the last 5 games. And I was like, should I just put in $100 and I could win?
Or 10? I mean,
yeah, no, you could any amount of money that you want to fuck around with, you could put and win unbelievable return. Like,
yeah, 10.
Like,
if you put $10 and it paid off, you would win $170,000.
No, not that much.
You said it was 17,000 to 1 odds, right?
Yeah, but that means 170 times. The extra 2 zeros, I think it's a percentage.
Oh shit, you're right. I forgot.
So
how
it'd still be
works.
1,700. Like it'd still be huge. No, yeah. If you put in $100, like I was thinking about, yeah, I'd win 17 grand if if they would somehow pull it off. And I was like, should I do that? And then I was looking at it, and it was like in California. Like, as Lucas knows, we had our proposition that both of them failed, so you can't actually legally sports bet.
You'd have to go to Vegas.
Yeah, or have someone, like a bookie or someone like that, put the bet in for you. I don't know. It looks like, oh god, they won again. They've now won 6 games in a row, although so did the Heat, so they're still 5 games back, but... I don't know. Just throwing that out there. Not saying it's a hot tip. Not saying anyone should actually act on it. But, you know, I'm sure the odds have improved a little bit now that they've won fucking 6 games in a row and are just looking real good.
Wild times. wild times in the wonderful world of sports. And we hope that episode 209 of the Voluntary Viewing Podcast was a wild time for you. It will almost certainly be titled... I mean, we kind of have to go with Alligabler, right?
Alligabler.
Alligabler? Okay. Yeah. If you liked it, like, comment, subscribe, etc. Check us out on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok for our highlight clips. ActBlue link in the description to help a collection of great progressive platforms. Support us on either the Anchor Podcast platform or Patreon, where you can join the likes of the terrific Tiffany Cole, Sucky Badger, and sensual Richard Nixon. Keep up to date with everything we have going on by following us on Twitter at V2_podcast, and follow me at Lucas Strider on Twitter to keep up with all of my writing. I don't know how much longer I can say that. I don't know how much longer I can recommend following us on Twitter. I just realized as I say that, future problems. Keep an eye out for the Voluntary Viewing Top 10s video coming, hopefully, January 1st, 2023. And more importantly than anything, have a great day, a great week, and a great holiday season. Goodbye.